Okay, we are live. Wonderful. Thanks so much for joining us for H3 TV, which we love to meet you every Wednesday afternoon, right on your lunch hour. Invite you in to our talk show where we talk about health, hope, and happiness. I love to share with people different ideas and tips and strategies. I think now more than ever, we all need a little bit of tips and stories on how to stay healthy, hopeful, and happy. Today, I have the pleasure of having my friend Terri with me. Terri, tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Well, thanks, Annie. I'm Terri Matson with Beginning Today Lifestyle Wellness. I have my own, coaching and speaking business. I've had it for, over 5 years now. So it's great what I do. I'm a life coach. We'll start with that. But I also talk to companies and bring in coaching into corporations, helping companies create a small wellness program, which helps them with the retention. Your employees, I would hope to think, are your number one asset in your company. So I like to come in and work with them and just help them continue to keep their employees engaged and relatable and feeling like they take ownership. I am a keynote speaker. So I make presentations. I'm going south. I'm going to Iowa. I'll be speaking in Iowa soon to an electrical co-op. I'm speaking to a Christian school. I speak to associations. I speak to small businesses. So that's what I do in a nutshell. I got a big retreat coming up. Maybe we can talk about that later in the show. But thanks for having me. This is great.
Absolutely. Congratulations on all your success, especially in this interesting time. And you mentioned something right there that I want to point out, because as working with business owners and leaders and companies, probably their biggest challenge right now is getting employees and retaining them. And so we know health is part of that. So I love that you brought that up right at the get-go. I went for a walk with a friend who's a director for this food service in Burnsville and Eagan, and she said, I am so desperate to hire employees right now. We need people to work, right? So we need people to work. That's one of my first messages today. So when we're talking about health, Terri, and wellness, what area of health and wellness do you like to work on? I feel like health and wellness covers a lot of areas of our life. So what do you really like to focus on?
It most certainly does, and we'll drill down a little bit later. But to start, I have to say, out of all the fundamentals of health and wellness, mental wellness is probably the key. It interrupts every single other area of wellness that we have. And because of the way things are right now and the way we are transitioning, we are living the new normal, we are making these changes, we are making some new decisions, however you want to call it. Mental wellness is huge. I mean, some of us are rolling better than others. Some of us are rethinking. Some of us are recreating ourselves and our identities. So mental health is really probably the biggest area right now in and of itself, in a nutshell. But it also leaks into the other areas of wellness, financial, physical, emotional, it's part of all of the arms.
That's right. They all overlap. And so mental health, well-being is really a passion of yours. That's certainly a passion of mine as I speak and teach. And we know that there's a lot of anxiety out there. So what do you do personally, not necessarily in your practice as a speaker and a coach, but what do you do personally in your own life to take care of yourself so you can stay healthy to keep teaching this to other people?
Absolutely, Annie. Great question. And it comes up, how do coaches coach themselves? How do coaches stay healthy? What do we do in our world? Well, I'm a runner. I've been a runner for 20 some odd years. So when I'm out running, that's what I'm doing. I don't listen to podcasts. I don't wear earbuds. I pray when I'm out there running. I think I'm incredibly thankful. Some of my first prayers always are being thankful that I can run. That regardless of the pace or the pattern or the direction, I'm able to run. I never forget that. So that's how I continue to fill my cup. I attempt to make healthy choices. Am I 100% healthy and making all the right choices? No, because that's right. I am human. But I do try, and I try to get the water in. So, running is probably the physical thing. And that's where I do a lot of my best thinking, a lot of my best planning. And the creativity comes and flows from that.
I love that, Terry. I love how you, first of all, when we first start talking about this, you're talking about all of our health and wellness overlap. And we know that. You and I have discussed that. We know that's really important. But you're actually showing us. So I think it's an interesting thing. And I love that quiet too when I walk. Is a lot of people put more information in, and there's nothing wrong with that, whether it's music or podcast, but it's how you're taking care of your mental and your physical health at the same time, giving yourself space to be calm and focused and clear, but also giving yourself space and quiet to be grateful, right? Which can shift our mind and our body. And I have another girlfriend that's a runner. I am not a runner. And she says, I used to complain about my short legs or my stubby legs. And then she goes, but I'm a runner. And I just thank God that I have these legs and that I can walk, let alone run. And how many people can't have that in their life? So I love that. I love that you start with gratitude and prayer time.
Absolutely. You have to be grateful for what you have there. It's too easy to fall in the poor me's and the shortcomings of your own personal life. So always start out being grateful what you have. And, we are blessed. We're very blessed that we can continue to move forward and make plans, think on our own, move on our own, feel on our own, react on our own. We're blessed that we have all that.
That's right. All right. Well, I want to ask you a two-part
Okay.
question here is when you're working with clients, whether that's individual or small group, what is your favorite area to work with them? And then what is your most challenging area? So when you're working with someone, whether it's challenging for you or challenging for them, more like what do they come to you with? Like, Terry, here's the deal. I am so stuck. I am so frustrated because we know we have people listening right now that are feeling stuck and frustrated, could maybe use a coach, someone to guide them. So tell us what you love about it and where people really feel challenged.
It's interesting. I tend to bring a lot of people towards me with weight loss, weight concerns, healthy weight, and that's great. I have some coaching plans for that. I have tools for that. I can walk alongside something you're already doing. I can introduce you into something new. That's great. Most of it, but then it develops into, it's kind of like you've heard this analogy, like an onion, peeling back the layers. So eventually you find out what else is really down in there. And there's usually multiple things going on. I also like to help people through, as we're talking about the mental health, that transition phase. So where you are right now and where you want to be. So meet you where you're at and get you where you want to be, because we all have a vision of who I like to be. I mean, and we might have had it for years and we don't know how to get there. And so I just love working side by side with people, helping them realize their vision because they're obtainable. It's doable. You just need a cheerleader and a coach behind you to get where you need to be. Does that answer the question? Or
that's a great answer. I love it. And also, I forgot to say at the beginning of the hour that if someone has a question or a comment for me or for Terry, feel free to put it in the chat box. We will definitely follow up with any comments or write them wherever you're watching, Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube, and we will make sure to check those and get answers back to you. I love what you said there about talk about owning gyms for 12 years and having these two gyms. People would come to me wanting weight loss, but really, I could never really help anyone with weight loss. It was more like changing habits or mindset. And a side effect was weight loss or getting to the root of why are you binge eating or why are you depriving or what is your story about yourself? And I think that's what is such a gift, Terry, that you help people think about. It's beyond the scale, right? It's
right, absolutely.
And who they want to be. I love that you said the vision of who they want to be. So that's a perfect, beautiful way to describe. So what are 3 to 5 tips? I want, like, you kind of gave us your running already, which is great, but anything else like, hey, I don't know where to start, Terry. Like I'm sitting here listening to this. I want to get healthy. I'm overwhelmed. I don't have energy. I feel overweight. Give me some strategy, some tips right now to the listener. What can you tell them?
Absolutely. This is kind of, I do another coffee chat with another coach, and I can't wait to get into the how I can help, little tidbits to take away right now. So just sitting here, all anxious to share. So I came up with 5. Of course I did. You said 3 to 5. Well, there you have it. If you'd have said 3 to 10, well, anyway, so 3 to 5. And I kind of put them in a order that makes sense to me, maybe not to you, but number 1, and if we had fast fingers, we could put these in the chat, which would be amazing.
And you can add them after, Terry, if you would write them down. Once we share that link, if you could write these in there, but let's just share them live for now.
Sure. Okay. So right now I would say number 1, to maintain good health, write down what's working for you now. Focus on the positive. Yeah. Focus on the positive. Number 2, identify your why. Your goals, and let's build a plan to get you there. First, focus on the positive, and then let's build from there. Let's find that why, that deep down why. Number 3, look for the beauty in yourself and others and your surroundings. Find the beauty. Just take a moment and find the beauty in that. Number 4, to maintain good health, schedule time for prayer and reflection. I think it's awful time, just quiet time, meditation, time outside, time, amongst the trees. Set time for self. And number 5, I have to say, I think it's obvious considering I am on this coaching podcast. Get a coach. We all need a coach. The coaches need a coach. We all need a coach to help us get us where we want to be. So that's my 5. So write down what's working, focus on the positive. 2, identify your why, your goal, and build a plan that'll take you there. Number 3, look for the beauty in yourself and others and your surroundings. Number 4, schedule time for prayers, reflection. And number 5, get a coach to help you get there.
That's right. Even if we are a coach, get a coach. So I just want to touch on each of these. I love it. I love positive, right? It's so easy when we're not feeling our best or doing our best to focus on what isn't working. So you're just saying right away, let's start with that mindset shift. There are things working. Even if there's a mountain of what's not, there are some things working in your life. Let's discover those. I love the why. So again, going back to the owning gyms, people would say they want to lose weight. And I was like, who cares? It's just a number. What if they said, I want to swim with my grandkids, or my sister was just diagnosed with cancer, or I have a class reunion, which I have a class reunion Saturday. What am I going to do? Anyway,
get on it now.
When they had that why, it was such a great driver beyond the number, right? I love the beauty, right? Like there is beauty all around us in simple ways and big ways. Quiet is huge. And I almost feel like there's a lot of people listening out there, I know this is true, that don't even know what quiet is anymore. I have quiet, Terry, when I'm listening to my podcast and when I'm riding my bike. No, what about quiet? What about really sitting with no noise, no computer, no cell phone, and just being in quiet? I think it's almost like an art we have forgotten to do.
Totally.
Right?
Absolutely.
Complete silence. Can you do it? Even if it requires locking ourselves in the bathroom with no cell phone and no one around, and get a coach, right? So we both are coaches and we both have coaches, because I think when you are a coach and when you are a person trying to get through the last year and a half, let alone life every day, especially if you're a business owner or a leader in a company, you need some support. You need someone on your team you can be honest and authentic with when things are hard. So great tips. I love all of them. They're excellent. Okay, but we know things happen, right, Terry? We know that life happens, and our joy, our health, and our happiness gets disrupted. And what do you do when the grandkids need you and there's no time to run and there's no time to, what are the things that disrupt you, and what do you do when you're disrupted?
When I'm disrupted, focus and refocus.
Okay.
You got to refocus where your intention is. You got to refocus what your goals are. You got to refocus on yourself. It's so easy to get distracted and get down in the mire and the muck. So when that happens, you just got to refocus. You got to take a little quiet time, take a little moment, and refocus on what's going to work for you. I also suggest gathering with others that lift you up. We all have our own little cohorts, our own posse. That's when you need to talk to your friends. That's when you need to get there and say, hey, I need you. And you know what? They're going to be there for you. They are. So reach out to the people that lift you up. So focus and refocus and reach out to the people, your posse, and let them help you get out of it.
So I'm going to push you a little bit harder on this one, because I know that we have listeners right now that are saying, Terry, I don't have any time. I don't have time to meet with myself and have quiet, let alone meet with my friends. I don't even have 5 minutes. I don't know where to start. Nothing in my life is working. They've lost sight of the positive and the beauty. What would you say to them?
Call me and let me help you.
Okay.
Let me help you take you through the steps to find the you. But, outside of that, honestly, because not everybody's going to pick up the phone and call me. I think you should, but if you cannot right now, you need to get your planner out, your phone out. We all have these silly smartphones, and every single smartphone has a calendar on it.
That's right.
So on your calendar, on your smartphone, on your paper, whatever, some of us are still old school. We use a lot of paper. That's okay. Not saying names, but maybe me. But write an appointment in with yourself And if it's from 9 to 9:10 in the morning or 9 to 9:10 in the evening, 10 minutes is 10 minutes. And you just need to you're worth it. You are worth the 10 minutes to gather up yourself and just give yourself some deep breaths. I love deep breathing. There's several techniques. I won't, go into them now. Every time I'm speaking, I do one of my breathing techniques during the presentations, just to help people come back to center, to just come back to center and relax. And that's good for if you're in the dentist chair and you don't like the dentist, if you're experiencing a little road rage and you come up on a stop sign, something's not going well with the kiddos, the project that you're working on right now isn't coming together like it should. Sometimes you just need to take a few, and that's 2 to 3 minutes, and do some deep breathing.
I love that. I just wanted you to come back to that simple 10 minutes, because we know there's a lot of people juggling jobs. They're juggling teaching school, which they didn't plan on being an educator. They're juggling being a parent, being a single parent, leading a team, whatever it is. And they literally believe, they've convinced themselves they don't have time. And I think it's such a great reminder, 10 minutes. You don't have to schedule half an hour. Let's start somewhere. Even you saying breathing, that can take a minute, right? Just to calm ourselves and breathe and slow down. So thank you for reminding people that there's a lot of great things we can do. And certainly the more time we have to devote to self-care, the better we're going to be in all areas. But if we don't have a lot of time, we can still do something. So thank you for that reminder. So do you think health happens by choice, by chance, or by circumstance?
That's great. I thought on mine, it said something about your, that you had asked me if you're born with it. Genetics.
Yeah. Could it be by choice, by chance, or genetics? So I use the word circumstance to me is genetics or.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There's a certain, I have to give a nod. There is a certain amount of good health and wellness that are attributed to genetics. And some, I don't know, probably not running in the Olympics for sure. That's not genetically in me. But what is genetically in me is I'm fairly healthy, so I can do something. That leads us to choice. You get to make choices every single day. You wake up and you make choices. Before your feet hit the ground, you're making choices. Choose to move. Choose to move that body. Choose to stretch before you get out of bed. Choose to have that glass of water by your bedside to get that fresh drink and refresh your body before you get out of bed. Choose to call somebody that is probably waiting for your call that you didn't realize. That's all emotional, mental, physical, choose just everything you do. You get to choose. You don't get to blame a lot of people for a lot of things that happen in your life, because every day you are making choices every single day. So choose good health. And for those managers out there and companies looking for employees, choose to treat your employees in a way that you would want to be treated. Choose to treat them as if they are family, not just employees, but they're family. They are your number one asset. Choose to offer them something that makes them want to come back. Choose to bring in something that differentiates your company from another company that they will slip off to for, 10 cents an hour more. Make people feel valued. And you know what? A lot of people, they don't know how to be well. They don't know what that means. So choose to show them small steps for maximum results. Choose to show them how they can live a healthier life and watch the ahas and the devotion and the dedication happen.
I love all of that. I think about companies and I think about what are the simple things they can create, whether it's a jug of water that's in the center. So we go back to the water conversations, and it creates community, reconnecting. People have forgotten. Have a contest for who can drink 100 ounces a day. Offer meditation for 30 minutes once a week. Offer yoga. Offer a wellness speaker. Offer some recipes or a cooking class. There's so many simple things that don't cost the company much, and the value of your employees feeling like they're cared about and they're like family is huge. So here's a thought that's been on my mind lately, Terri, I want to ask you about is, especially when you mention athletes in the Olympics. So there's a lot of people in that athletic world that use the language mental toughness. We got to be mentally tough. We got to be mentally strong. But I really believe we need to be mental compassion, mental kindness, and that when we support one another, especially when people feeling more anxious, maybe than they have in a long time or ever in their life, I think when we offer mental compassion and kindness, it creates mental strength, not necessarily toughness, but strength. What are your thoughts on that? That whole language around we need mental toughness, or we need mental compassion or kindness or mental strength by unity of not going it alone, of asking for the community support one another and creating healthy workplace environments, what you're talking about for the employer to offer that.
Absolutely. And, there are, I was coaching someone here, and we were talking about the difference between seen as being passionate or seen as having compassion. And sometimes there's a blur there. If you think that I'm so passionate about something, it could almost seem selfish and me driven.
Okay.
But if I'm compassionate about something, that's more of a giving and you driven thing. So when you're working with other people or you're leading a team, try to remember that if you show compassion in what's happening, what's going on, and take your passion out of it, it's going to put everybody on a more level playing field.
I love that. And I also love that you said you started that before with movement. And I tell people movement is my medicine. It's not always that I want to do it. It's not always that I feel like it. But when I do it, I know that I am feeding my body in a way. I have girlfriends, we're in a group called Commit to Fit that I text these ladies. And I was telling them last night, okay, my new best friends are ice cream and seltzers before I go to bed. I'm sorry. I apologize, everyone. No, that's not good. And it's not good for my reputation.
Outing yourself right here in front of a wellness coach. Ouch.
Exactly. They're like, and then I'm like, they're like, you can do something better. And they were texting me things, and one's like, brush your teeth, then you won't want to eat again. One's like, and I ended up like, okay, fine. I'm leaving the house. I'm brushing my teeth. I went out for a 3-mile walk, came back home, drank 3 big glasses of water. I felt so good. I was like, okay, remember, this is your medicine. And if you don't take care of you, you can't keep doing the good work. So I love that you just said movement, whether it's dancing or walking or jogging or whatever it is. I love
Annie, I must say that a lot too, because my husband actually quoted me in a crowd somewhere. Well, my wife always says movement is medicine. Like,
oh, there you go.
Listening. Who would have thunk?
We didn't expect it, right? So is there any confusing myths about health that you want to clear up? You have a lot of experience in this.
Yeah.
There's a lot of mixed messages. Don't do this. You have to do this. And people get overwhelmed and then they just give up. So if you could clear a myth or a confusion, what would it be?
Okay, fabulous. I love this question. This is when we talk about health and wellness, there's a clear and defining line. Health to me means illness, means recovering from illness. It means something is there and you have to take care of your health. Something isn't working, so your health is not in order.
Okay.
Wellness to me means you're doing good. You're taking care right long, and you're staying well, so you don't have to recover your health. So so I got some words from the dictionary, or health is a state of being. Wellness is the state of living a healthy lifestyle.
I love that. That's awesome. Yeah, I talk about well-being and mental health, and I think the words can be interchanged, but I love the explanation. And always we think about preventative. If you spend the money to give your car an oil change, why would you not spend the time and money to care? Don't wait till we get sick.
Yeah, right.
About being well.
Stay well. Put out that bowl of apples. Get rid of those bags of chips and bowl of candy. Get out a bowl of apples. Your kids will eat it if that's what there is to eat. And if it's a bowl of fruit, they'll come in, they'll grab that. And when we're talking about the office, all these people, so funny. Went into an HR office once after my meeting there. My word. And she came to all of the meetings, and there's this big bowl of assorted candy. She goes, I have to bribe them to talk to me. I don't think that's the right bribe, but if you walk into an office building, it has a big shiny bowl of apples or bananas and pears, the tangerines, the little halos, people will pick those up and eat them. They love that. Yeah. So, helping people have awareness in their own life by having awareness in yours, it just gives. It just keeps on giving. You're teaching people a new habit. They're taking that habit home. They're sharing. Pretty soon that's what their kids are asking for instead of the junk, because that's what they come in, they grab it, they go do their homework or watch TV or whatever it is they do. And And Annie, I just wanted to touch when you said you went for the walk and you drank the water and you felt so good. And that's probably one of the biggest coaching tips I tell people. When you have that success, stop, take a moment, think about it, breathe it in. What did I just do? How does this feel? How does this feel? What's going on in my head? What's going on in my body? How am I emotional? How does this feel? Because there are days when you're not going to want to do something, and you're going to need to go back and go, okay, I want that feeling again.
Yeah.
I want to feel like that again. And that's that affirmation for you to make that choice, to focus and refocus. You've got that ice cream thing going on, and it's like, oh yeah, I remember what that tastes like. Oh yeah, I like that. I like that. Where'd that come from? That come from when you were eating it, you were having those thoughts. So when you take good care of yourself, give yourself some time to enjoy the feeling, the emotion, and be in the moment right there and then, so you can call it back up.
That's right. Those are great ideas, thoughts. I think those habits too, you get in the habit of, I sit down. I don't even like TV, but if the TV's on, I sit down, then I have a snack, then I'm like, why am I doing this? Like, I don't want to do this. So just changing habits. I'm like, I love to be outside. It's beautiful out. I love to go for a walk. I like to sit on my deck. There's other things I can enjoy besides, and sitting on the deck doesn't have to equal a beverage, and sitting in front of the TV doesn't have to equal a snack. So how do we change that? So I love that. Is there any last minute story you want to share about health before we sign out here, Terri?
I just think live your best life. You only get one. Don't waste it. Don't waste another minute. What has happened has happened. Today is the first day of the rest of your life. Embrace it. Run with it. Take good care of you.
I love that. Thanks so much for being with me today, Terri. Thanks so much for listening. We will be back next Wednesday. We appreciate you tuning in. We love your questions and comments. And Terri will give you her access information in the comments. But Terri, if you'd just like to share, if someone does want to reach out to you, what is the best place to connect with you? Is it email, LinkedIn, Facebook? How would people find you?
Well, I'm on LinkedIn, so you can just hit me up there if you're watching there. I have a Facebook page, Beginning Today Lifestyle Wellness. You can go there. I have a website, beginning-today.com. Don't forget the dash, beginning-today.com, or Terri at beginning-today.com.
Great. We will have Terri share all of that in the comments below as we share these. We thank you so much for being with us this week. We look forward to seeing you next Wednesday afternoon on your lunch hour, and we wish you a healthy, hopeful, and happy year ahead. Take care.
Bye.